The Voynich Manuscript is a book written by hand that is reliably dated to the early part of the 15th century.
For over 6 centuries, the Voynich Manuscript has baffled scholars, cryptographers, and historians worldwide.
There are so many drawings, so many figures. You can think of any theory and you will find evidence in the manuscript.
Finally decoded, this mysterious text reveals troubling content that experts suggest might have been better left undeciphered.
Instructions for magic spells, incantations, talk of witches, talk of angels and their genealogy.
Like the type of knowledge you feel shouldn't even exist. We always thought it was mystical doodles, alien plants, and naked ladies for vibes. Turns out the secrets inside are way darker. Ready to find out what's in it? Stick with me till the end, because once you hear what they uncovered, you'll understand why some experts said, we probably should have left it unread. AI begins decoding Voynich Manuscript in 2025. He was saying that the search for answers to the Voynich Manuscript had recently taken a surprising and dramatic turn. And according to him, it happened in early 2025 when a team of researchers using advanced artificial intelligence techniques announced a discovery that shocked even the most doubtful experts in cryptography. He explained that the Voynich Manuscript had always been known as one of the world's greatest unsolved puzzles, and people had been wondering for more than a century about what secrets it might hold. He mentioned that the manuscript was around 240 pages long and dated back to the early 15th century, yet nobody had been able to read the strange writing inside it. The vellum pages, he said, carried elegant and looping letters that looked like they belonged to a language, but no one recognized the symbols, and they seemed to form around 25 to 30 unique characters. Alongside the writing, there were delicate drawings of plants that no one had ever identified, astronomical diagrams, and even illustrations of naked women that puzzled researchers. He pointed out that many people had always wondered what the manuscript could really be. Was it a medical guide from an ancient world, or a book full of magic and alchemy secrets? Was it an early science textbook, or something entirely different? And then again, he said, some people even thought it might have been a prank from the 15th century, a very detailed one, or that it came from somewhere beyond Earth. For centuries, the world's brightest minds tried and failed to unlock this strange, haunting script. If it was written by humans, why did no humans seem able to read it? Why did it feel like a real language, yet obey no rules on Earth? Stick with me, because the Voynich Manuscript has finally been decoded, and what it reveals isn't comforting. He continued by saying that the real mystery was not only the text itself, but also the fact that it resisted every normal decryption method. Experts tried everything from simple substitution ciphers to complex linguistic analysis, yet nothing worked. According to him, many believed it had meaning because the writing followed patterns that looked natural, but every attempt to decode it only led to frustration. So when AI came into the picture, people were curious, but also unsure what to expect. He explained that the breakthrough in 2025 came when researchers used neural networks trained to look at many languages at once, instead of just comparing the text in a single direction. They built on previous work from the University of Alberta, where earlier researchers had used algorithms to compare the Voynich text with a major human rights document translated into hundreds of languages. The early AI, he said, had already guessed that the writing might actually be Hebrew written in a rearranged alphabet system, where words had their letters sorted alphabetically. Surprisingly, more than 80% of the words the system suggested appeared in Hebrew dictionaries. But the new 2025 approach went further. It added context, history, and even visual interpretation, comparing the symbols not just to languages, but to old scripts and illustrations, like it was trying to understand the book the way a human would. Then he spoke about the moment the first sentence was decoded. The team shared that the first clear translation was something surprising and strangely ordinary. It reportedly said, "She made recommendations to the priest, man of the house and me and people." He explained that reading it felt almost odd because it was so simple, like something you might hear in a story or a diary, not a magical spell or a secret formula. But he added that this simple sentence opened the door for the AI to decode more of the text, almost like finding the right key for a locked door. Soon, he said, phrases began to repeat, and patterns became more obvious. The researchers noticed writing about plants and mixtures, about the sky and stars, and about medical ideas that seemed unfamiliar. As they continued, he said, some parts began to worry experts because they talked about substances and techniques that did not exist in recorded medical history. Could someone centuries ago have known about something modern science still had not discovered? Was this lost knowledge or something intentionally hidden? And, he asked, what did it mean that the manuscript described methods that seemed unethical and dangerous by today's medical standards? He then described how things became more troubling when the AI focused on the famous section of the manuscript showing naked women in baths. He said the decoded text suggested that this part contained instructions for procedures that modern ethics boards would reject instantly. According to him, researchers became concerned that the book might not have been just a mysterious piece of history, but a guide that contained information people decided should never be used. He wondered aloud why such knowledge had been disguised, and whether those who created the manuscript understood how dangerous it could be. Was it hidden on purpose? Had people long ago been protecting the world from knowledge that could harm others? Or had someone hoped it would be rediscovered in the distant future? He explained that these questions left researchers both amazed and uneasy, because they suddenly felt they were not only solving a puzzle, but stepping into a story that stretched across centuries. Imagine finally holding the answers you've hunted for, only to realize unlocking them might change everything you thought you knew. That was the moment he paused, looked at the fragile pages, and whispered a truth no one expected. Sometimes solving a mystery isn't victory. Sometimes it's a warning. Because in the end, they weren't sure if those secrets were meant to be uncovered at all, or if the manuscript had been guarding something ancient, powerful, and better left untouched. Stay with me, because what happened next will make you question how far we should go in the name of discovery. Multispectral imaging uncovers hidden clues. He had heard people say that technology could shine light on mysteries from the past, but he never imagined how far that truth could stretch until researchers used powerful modern tools on the Voynich Manuscript. According to them, new advancements had given scholars the chance to examine the strange book's physical nature in ways that were impossible in earlier times. They explained that multispectral imaging, a method that used invisible light beyond what the human eye could see, had brought hidden details to life and revealed clues tucked away for centuries. It sounded almost magical, yet it was all science. He wondered if a book had stayed silent for hundreds of years, what kind of secrets could it suddenly decide to share when seen under a different kind of light? Would it whisper answers long forgotten, or only create more questions? People described multispectral imaging as a way of capturing digital pictures using ultraviolet and infrared light, and they said it worked well for old manuscripts because different materials reacted in unique ways when hit by these light frequencies. Medieval ink, they pointed out, had iron in it, and that iron seeped deeply into parchment when the ink was first applied. So even if someone tried to scrape off the writing or if it faded with time, the molecules would still remain and glow under ultraviolet light. It made him stop and imagine scribes hundreds of years ago dipping quills into ink, not realizing that centuries later, someone with special machines would still be able to see their strokes. In 2014, Yale University's Baffled library had allowed a team from the Lazarus Project to scan selected pages, and those scans sat quietly until 2024 when a researcher named Roger Easton processed them again. It felt almost like the manuscript had been waiting patiently, as if saying, "Not yet, the world is not ready." When Lisa Fagin Davis, who worked with medieval texts every day, saw the reprocessed images, she noticed something extraordinary. In the corner of the first page, almost invisible to the naked eye, there were 3 slim columns of writing. One showed the Roman alphabet from A to Z, another displayed Voynich characters beside it, and the last column repeated the Roman alphabet but slightly shifted by one letter. Davis believed these markings matched the handwriting of Johannes Marcus Marci, who owned the manuscript between 1662 and 1665. She said she had found strong similarities between the letters in the margins and Marci's known samples. It amazed him to think someone centuries ago may have been trying to break the manuscript's code, quietly scribbling their attempts in the margin, never knowing future scholars would use advanced tools to uncover their efforts. Did that person hope to solve the mystery? Did they feel frustration? Or did they believe they were close to unlocking a dangerous truth? Experts argued that these discoveries strongly supported the manuscript being truly ancient. They said it would make no sense for a modern person to fake something that would only be discovered centuries later once technology evolved. They also noted that tests had shown no sign that the parchment had been reused, which fit perfectly with earlier tests dating it to around 1425. It left little doubt in their minds that the Voynich manuscript really came from the medieval period, carrying the weight of time and the breath of forgotten hands that once turned its pages. He could not help but wonder if the people who lived during that time ever imagined that one day their strange book would become one of the greatest puzzles in history. As more pages and illustrations were studied, researchers started speaking in worried tones. They suggested that parts of the manuscript might hold medical knowledge, including information about plants, healing rituals, and herbs. Some drawings looked like known medicinal plants, such as ones linked to remedies similar to aspirin, while others seemed like strange blends of plant parts that did not exist in nature. The pages also showed images of bathing practices and astrological notes beside them, hinting at a mixture of science and mysticism. He heard scholars ask whether the manuscript's writers were trying to store valuable healing knowledge, or if they were mixing spiritual ideas with early science. Could that knowledge help people today, or bring harm if misunderstood? And why had it been written in such a protected, secretive way? Different scholars had theories. Some believed the content was hidden because it could have been considered dangerous or forbidden when it was created. They pointed out that the book had no Christian symbols, which was strange for a work produced during a time when religious oversight was extremely strict. Others suggested it might hold Jewish medical knowledge, and that the illustrations of women bathing might connect to ancient purification traditions. If that were true, the coded language might have been used to protect the information from persecution or destruction. He imagined people in another time writing carefully and secretly, afraid their work might cost them their freedom or even their lives. It made him think how much knowledge had been lost because people feared to write it down openly. But alongside excitement came concern. Some researchers warned that if the manuscript contained real medical recipes or alchemical formulas, releasing that information without understanding it fully could be dangerous. They explained that even mathematical studies of the text showed it followed complex patterns, not random nonsense, and that the encryption seemed deliberate and intelligent, so the mystery deepened. Was the manuscript a treasure trove of knowledge that was ahead of its time? Or was it a carefully crafted riddle meant only for chosen eyes? And most importantly, should its secrets ever be fully revealed? In the end, he thought about how strange it was that a book written so long ago could stir so much feeling in people today. Curiosity, excitement, fear, wonder. It reminded him that no matter how advanced the world becomes, there will always be mysteries that pull human minds toward them, asking to be solved. For a moment he paused, surrounded by pages that felt older than memory itself, staring into symbols that tugged at the edge of human understanding. Every scholar before him had chased the same ghost, and now he felt it too, that strange pull between discovery and obsession. He found himself asking the same question scholars had whispered for years. Was the Voynich Manuscript a doorway to forgotten knowledge? Or was it simply a mirror reflecting our endless hunger for answers? Only time, and maybe more light, would tell. But here's where things take a turn, because if this mysterious book ever gives up its secrets, the world as we know it may shift in ways we're not ready for. So stay with me, because the next part isn't just fascinating, it's unsettling. And trust me, you'll want to hear every second of what comes next. What happens if the Voynich manuscript is fully decoded? He explained that the complete decipherment of the Voynich manuscript would do far more than solve an old mystery. It would open the door to questions that many people might not be prepared for, and researchers believed this was why the topic stirred so much debate. They said that many in the academic world were unsure if fully translating the manuscript would bring great understanding or if it might introduce confusion or even harm. After all, how often does one ancient book have the potential to shake the way society sees history, science, and belief? They pointed out that this text was not just a strange old document, it was seen as a possible window into the medieval mind, a time when science, faith, and ideas about the universe were deeply connected. They often wondered aloud what would happen if the manuscript revealed forgotten knowledge or secret scientific practices long buried in time. Could such knowledge change how modern people viewed the past? Could it show that people in the medieval world had ideas that modern science had only recently rediscovered? They said that historians emphasized that understanding the manuscript would take a whole team of experts, since almost no one knew how to fully understand all the parts. They mentioned that the drawings, the strange plants, the star charts, the ink, the writing style, and the physical binding of the book would all need to be studied together. They even noted that the methods used to decode it could become useful for other encrypted documents in the future, giving a new boost to cryptography and historical research. So then they asked, was the value in the words themselves or in the journey people took to unlock them? At the same time, they shared that some scholars warned of dangers. What if full translation inspired misuse or misunderstanding? They reminded others that even Alan Turing, the brilliant codebreaker who cracked the Enigma machine, could not solve this manuscript. They suggested that perhaps the book was protected on purpose or written in a way only certain minds were ever meant to understand. It made them ask a troubling question. Could the manuscript hide ideas that might be risky in the wrong hands? They pointed out that many theories had been thrown around over the years, from forgotten scientific discoveries to a prayer book from a secret religious sect. Some even said it could contain knowledge that was forbidden or misunderstood in its time. They continued by saying that if such ideas became public today, someone could easily twist or exaggerate them, leading to false beliefs or strange movements. Would people use it to spread misinformation or build confusing stories around it the way they do with myths and mysteries already? The thought alone made some historians uneasy, and they admitted that the line between curiosity and chaos could be thin when dealing with mysterious ancient knowledge. Then there was the question that made discussion even more complicated. Should all knowledge really be uncovered? They mentioned that some respected scholars believed not every mystery needed to be solved. They referred to comments from Robert Richards of the University of Chicago, who had once compared the manuscript to an alien language in a film, so unfamiliar to human understanding that it might reshape the way people think if it were fully grasped. They explained that this idea made researchers pause and consider whether human minds were ready for everything hidden in history. Others in the academic world pointed out that perhaps the book contained nothing groundbreaking at all, and could even be a very old joke created by someone with a clever imagination and a lot of time. They shared that experts often reminded each other that the manuscript's value might not be in what it says, but in the curiosity and teamwork it has inspired for centuries. It had pushed scientists, historians, linguists, and thinkers to work together, learn from each other, and explore new methods. So they said that maybe the true importance lay not in the content, but in the way it sparked innovation and unity across different fields of study. And in the end, they wondered, what mattered more, knowing every secret or being driven to ask better questions? With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.